Welcome to Friday Fun. I am back in Gaithersburg, Maryland today. Yay. Back home in my studio where I have my my entire stash. I've got a big job ahead. I've got to merge. I tried doing that a couple weeks ago, but I've had to travel and then come back. So um, all set to go for another Friday Fun here. Well, let me go ahead and just say hey to some of you all before I get into it too much. Well, before I do, I just wanted to thank you guys for encouraging my daughter Hannah. She passed her certified nursing assistance test. Yay! Thank you guys for so much for praying for her. I know she felt the support. It was really humbling for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she's there in South Carolina. She's in our moderating chat right now, helping us. And as she helps her grandma. So good job, Hannah. Thank you so much. Well, I just wanted to say hey to Katie Loves Crochet. She looks like she's working on the tulip blanket, and I'm so glad that's going well for you. Katie and Emmeline, our friend from Switzerland. And thank you for your well wishes for Hannah. And looks like Swati's going to miss today, but she's chimed in to say hello to everybody. Hey, Swati, when you watch the rebroadcast, it's good to see you in the chat. We have Jan, and let's see, Alana, and let's see, Wanda Gordon, Kelly Hart, Dolores Craig. Thank you for the congrats, Dolores. And she says it's her first live, though she's been following me for ages. Thank you, Dolores. That's so sweet of you to join us today. And we have April, is it Margita from Sweden? Wow. And Jacqueline LaFridge from Los Angeles. Thank you for your support, Jacqueline. You're supporting two women owned not that that really matters, but it matters to the two women, that's for sure. But Cottage Industries, thank you so much for your support there. I know that that Emily really appreciates that too. And Judy from Brazelton, Georgia. I hope you're doing all right, Judy. Lots of summer storms, lots of tornadoes down in your state again this week, so I hope you're doing all right. I have to tell you guys a story. I think I actually, with Hannah, witnessed a small EF episode. I don't know that it was not ever designated a tornado, but we were we beat the storm, kind of got into Taco Bell, wanted to take her out because that's kind of our mommy daughter thing. And and we got in there and we're eating our tacos. And then all of a sudden I'm looking out the windows, which are on all sides of the store there, of the restaurant. And I see these uh, traffic lights. They weren't just swinging, they were dancing. I've never seen these very heavy traffic lights do that. And all of a sudden they were moving around like crazy. And then I heard a big crack and then looked to my side, and two huge trees had just snapped off and fell right in front of cars driving on 501. And thankfully nobody was injured, or it didn't come down on top of a car. Had it been a split second later, it probably would have. So like, wow, that was really frightening. It was like one of those things that came out of nowhere and then it was just gone, just like that. Of course, traffic on 501, both directions, was held up for hours after that. But I was just so glad that nobody was hurt. And so anyway, just this weather, and it's just spring. It's typical spring weather in the South, but do be careful, those of you living down there. And let's see, we have Lynn Geider in the chat. Thank you for your sweet comment, Lynn. And we have Johnny from our South Florida friend in the 90-degree heat. Yes, I remember that. Through many band camps, marching around out in that hot Florida sun and South Carolina sun for college. Always in the heat of the summer, 90 to 100 degrees, at least in South Carolina. But anyway, I digress. Thank you so much, guys, for chiming in. And let's see, we have Lynn Morris from Quebec, Ontario, and Canada. And yes, she hopes everyone is smiling and staying healthy by the grace of God. Yes, we're trying. So let's see who else we have here. I'm going to kind of skip over some of the chat because I'm going to try to say hey to everybody today, but I really need to get down to some of my list, and I'm going to be having lunch with a friend today, and I've already scheduled an appointment. So I kind of have to, close up shop just a little earlier today, but I'm going to try to get through some really fun things with you anyway. it's just so good to be back in town where I have friends and we can meet together safely since we've been vaccinated, or, have the conscience to do this. So we're good. Um, April says that they were 80 degrees. It looks like they're in Spokane, Washington. Wow. Way early for that. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Um, 85 degrees and Tucson. Wow. It's going to get hotter there, right, Kelly? Um, Looks like it's nice and cool for Lynn in Chicago. And Emily Price. Hey, Emily. Emily's in our chat today. And let's see. Everything just skipped on ahead of me here, and I lost where I was. You guys are used to that. So we have Ann Butler, and we have Susan from Australia. Wow. And Judy from Michigan. And we have Wanda the backwards wrong side crocheter, our trucker crocheter, fabulous person in the chat. Hey, Wanda, was thinking about you a lot today, or yeah, 2 days ago when I was driving on the road. Um, and just to let you all know, those of you who are subscribers to the watch.bonniebaycrochet.com, it's a little spiel here. It's a commercial-free, ad-free, spam-free site where you can watch some of my best content and get an occasional free pattern whenever I release my new material, if I own the copyright. That's the little asterisk there. If I don't own the copyright, I'm not able to give you a complimentary pattern. But whenever I release the patterns here on YouTube, I also release them on the Watch channel, but they get the complimentary pattern. It's a $6.95 a month subscription fee. And again, like I say, ad free, spam free, commercial free. And let's see, if you subscribe for the year, you actually get 12 months for the price of 10 months of viewership, if that makes sense. So, and I've already posted my video over there. I'll be bringing that out on Monday for the YouTube channel, but I've already posted my trip from South Carolina to Maryland in 16 and a half minutes. So I promise I didn't get any tickets. It's all time, mostly time lapse, but just some interaction on some interesting things that happened. And Wanda, I did think about you because you truckers are great. I'll just say I wanted to get out of my car and hug half of them behind me. We had a situation, I'll tell you about it right now, where you're supposed to merge. There's a lot of construction. And then so what happens is a lot of us dutifully merge to the lane we're supposed to be in. And then you have a bunch of these wild people that just kind of zoom on ahead, trying to get up ahead of you, and they kind of like block everybody. Well, when I was driving on I-95 in North Carolina, the truckers teamed up. I saw a lot of that was happening. It was really frustrating me, to be honest with you. I know you know what I'm talking about. You obey the rules and then you get punished because all the, you know, the we don't care about the rules because we're special people, dive on up ahead and then slows all the people down who did what they were supposed to do. Well, anyway, the truckers blocked that. I thought that was the coolest thing. And you can see it in a rear view mirror in the video that I'll be releasing on Monday. But the truckers they said, okay, we're going to stop this. So they just stopped it and they just put a block to it so that people couldn't do that. And I just thought that was great. That really tickled me. So that made my day, actually. But anyway, so I'm glad to be back. I also wanted to say thank you guys for taking an interest in the tulip blanket. Let me go ahead and I'm going to show this to you one last time because I'm going to be shipping it to Emily later on. I don't know if I'm going to get it in the mail today, Emily, because I'm meeting somebody for lunch, but I'm going to try to get it in the mail soon. But this is a lap blanket. It's not a full-size throw, but it is a lap blanket. And let me show it to you again. The yarn was fantastic. I mean, this is a kit that's available from lambshopkits.com, and the video link, or the link is in the video description below. And this is hand-dyed superwash merino DK weight yarn. And there are 8 scans of this beautiful yarn in the kit. And so anyway, she has a Mother's Day special going she wanted me to tell you about. Also, if you use the coupon code Bonnie Bay when you order with her, you'll get a 10% discount. So fun, huh? And if you order now through Mother's Day, she has a free, a driftwood crochet hook that she will include without extra cost. Let's go ahead and put that back. There we go. So if that's something that you're interested in, and just to let you know, it is an investment. This is not basement, you know, bottom of the barrel yarn. This is high quality yarn. If you don't want to use that yarn, you can always use whatever you have on hand. And I do talk about that some in the video. So, you know, just check that out. It's on my channel. It's called Emily's Tulip Lap Blanket. And it is actually doing quite well. So thank you. So some of you are watching that. Thank you so much. And I think the number of kits is limited. I think she may have 10 left, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but just to let you know, if that's something you're interested in, you might want to think about it sooner rather than later. But again, no pressure from me. Don't ever feel pressure. You know, if you guys want to use what you have on hand, you could probably even use a yarn from your stash if you've got enough. And you know, you don't have to make it exactly the way I did it. You can, you know, mix up the colors, do whatever you want on that. And speaking of Emily's shop, let me just show you one more thing. This is called, let me get the name right, The Sprig Cloche by Alana Dakos. Okay, there I actually made this. I made a video tutorial. It's a knit project. It's a knit hat. This is not a beginner project. However, as you know, I've not been knitting a long time, maybe 3 years, maybe four now, not a long time, and I haven't spent a lot of time doing knitting. But I was able to follow this pattern and it was really, really fun. And I just wanted to show that to you. I would wear it, but yellow is just not my color. um, there are many other colors available, and this looks really fantastic in some of her dark green of the hand-dyed yarn that she has in her shop. But just to let you know, this will probably be coming later in May. Okay, so if you wanted to learn how to knit that and up your skills a little bit, I do take it step by step, line by line. I explain what the symbols mean, and then I show you what it looks like. So because I had to do that slowly, I had to just even look up some of these terms to find out what in the world that means. So if you're a little adventurous on a knit project, this might be something you might want to try. Again, the pattern will not be, I cannot make that available on my watch channel because I don't even own the pattern. I am just the the knitter on this one. I am not the designer. So, and that again is a kit available in Emily's lambshopkits.com if that's something you're interested in. Maybe a Christmas present for you at some point. All right, Hannah's got some questions for me here. I said, Brat's mom is wondering uh, if I said that you should order an extra purple yarn scan. Um, okay, no. When I did the video, okay, what she's asking about is the purple color, which is the purple color here on the flowers, is close. You'll use almost all of the yarn in this particular design. I did have probably 30 yards left over. So there was an extra amount. There is a buffer on that color. But if you don't check your gauge, and if your gauge is even slightly larger than mine, there is a chance that you are going to run out of the purple color by the time you get to the last row where you need to work the purple flowers. Okay. So if you don't want to check your gauge and you want to play yarn chicken, you can. But if your gauge is about where my gauge is, or even a little bit smaller, you are going to be fine with the yardage. Now, if you don't have enough purple to finish that last row, another thing that you can do is you can use some of the other colors that are left over. And there was plenty of, let's say, the pink and the yellow and the cranberry color. So, I mean, you can always substitute another color. So you do not have to buy an extra scan of yarn. You should have plenty, like I said, as long as you follow the gauge and check the gauge, you should be fine. So, but that is an excellent question. Thank you so much for asking that. Another question, Jan would like to know how much bigger is the 20 stitches when added for a wider blanket? Okay, 20 stitches, that's a good question. That's if you're alternating this and if you are, alternating it. So 20 stitches would be, okay, from about here let's see, to here. Okay, from about here to here, you're going to be adding 2 flowers, and you'll be adding 5 additional arrow stitches across. And the reason that the number 20 has come up is if you want to make this wider, you can, but you have to add multiples of 20 to the original starting chain. And that's simply because if you remember back in 6th, 7th grade math, least common denominator, which would be the smallest number that 10 and 4, which are the two multiples that we're dealing with, are divisible by, and that number would be, well, 20. 20 is the I guess least common denominator, if I'm saying that right. All right. I used to always get those mixed up. Least common denominator versus greatest common something or other, multiple, think what it was. But I hope that answers your question, Jan. Okay, okay. Thank you, Hannah. She said those were questions. Okay, got it, got it. All right, so let me go back and see what we got here. Oh yes, thank you guys for the reminder. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. And for those of you who aren't mothers, I hope you have a wonderful time, celebrating the holiday with somebody, whether it be your mom or your grandmother or maybe even a friend who, I know that could be kind of a tough holiday for some of us. I mean, my mom is no longer with me here, but I do have my mother-in-law, so I do have somebody I can help celebrate, although from afar. And so yeah, just take some time to show your appreciation. Just give them a call, if nothing else. I know that I would appreciate that. No hints being dropped, Hannah, but I would just love to hear from my children. I just realized I got some glare on this. Let me see if we can do that. Oh, I didn't make it. Ah, there we go. Okay, just saw a lot of glare behind me. I thought I'd go ahead and fix it. All right. Okay, good. Thank you guys again. I'm seeing a lot more comments congratulating Hannah. Thank you. And it looks like Jane Chapman is in the chat, and Brenda Perez. Thank you for your prayers there, and your prayers for Lynn. Okay, let's see what's going on with Lynn. I better back it up. Oh, I see. You guys are just being sweet to each other. That's so good. And looks like Jane is from West Springfield, Massachusetts. I know where that is. Been there back in 1988. It's been a while. We have Janet Lowe, and we have SCH02290 from France. Wow. Well, welcome. Bonjour. Welcome to our crochet talk here today. And let's see. Oh, it's Brenda's first time here. That's great, Brenda. Thank you for joining us. And we have Jennifer G from Northern California. I'm sure it's beautiful up there. I haven't really been up to Northern California yet, except to land on the tarmac on the way to somewhere else up in San Francisco. But anyway, yeah, well, let me go ahead. I'm gonna roll on down here. Hannah's sending me another question. Let me see what this is. Erica Grubbs would like to know if you have a tutorial for how to read crochet patterns. And what does gauge mean? That's an excellent question, Erica. I do, if you do a little search on my YouTube channel, if you go up to the top, the search bar, and just write how to read patterns and then put Bonnie Bay in there at the same time, and the videos should come up. If they don't, you can always contact me. My email is bonniebay@me.com. Oh, thank you, Hannah. Hannah just put something in there for her. Thank you so much, Hannah. But you can always contact me. And what I mean by gauge, Gauge, okay, what that is it's like if I make something, I'm going to measure how many stitches in let's say a 4-inch area. That's a commonly used reference in patterns. So if I'm doing double crochets, let's say I can get 12 double crochets in a 4-inch measure. And that would be if you take the fabric and lay it down flat, you're not pulling or twisting or trying to stretch it to the gauge by any means, but just laying it flat without, without manipulating it in any way. And if you measure it, and let's say the pattern says you should have 12 double crochets per 4 inches. And if you do a little sample and then you realize, oh, I'm getting 15 double crochets in a 4 inch area, then you know that your crocheting is tighter than mine. And so whatever you're making is going to be smaller. So what you would do to fix that is you would bump up to the next size hook. You might have to go up 2 sizes, it depends. And then you try it again and you see it by using a larger hook if now you can get 12 double crochets in a 4 inch area. I'm just using these numbers hypothetically. Now let's say, for example, you measure it and you're getting like 10 double crochets in a 4 inch area, then your stitching is a lot larger than mine. Then you would have to go down to a smaller crochet hook and you try again until you can get, roughly 12 in a 4 inch area. And so that's not so important if your yarn is unlimited and you're making a blanket or something that's not a fitted garment. If you're making something like this, which is a fitted garment, this is on my channel. This is Bonnie's, I think, Easy Summer Top, and that is on my channel. You can watch that and learn how to make this. That is very important, that if you want it to fit you just right, you need to make sure that when you start, that the number of inches, when you lay that sample flat, you're getting the same that I am, or you have to look at the pattern to see, how many inches uh, am I getting? And if you don't, I mean, there's nothing magical. It's not going to fix itself later. So I kind of went on and on, but I hope that helps. That's an excellent question, because things that we all have had to learn at some point or another. Okay, April has a question. Would like to know, what yarn did you use for the Christmas tree skirt that I worked on? Okay, this is a design that hasn't. April's talking about a design that has not been released yet. I'm hoping to release this. My goal release date is sometime in July, so we can do a Christmas in July project. I use the number 5 weight. Let's see if I have any here. Hold on a sec. Oh, here we go. Ta-da. I used a different color than this, but this is actually what I used. Paint box. It's the Simply Chunky. Now they do have a 5 weight and they have a 6 weight. I used the number 5. Okay. And I'm going to give you the yardage on this. There is 136 meters or 149 yards in a 100-gram or 3.5-ounce ball. How's that for all those stats? Okay, this is 100% acrylic, which I think, I could have gone for some fancier yarn, could have made it wool or something like that. I think I used 19 of these. I need to verify that, so you might want to order a little bit more to make sure. But I'm fairly certain that I used 19, but I still have to finish the writing process and put the video together, which has already been recorded. I just have to edit it all together and make sure that it's correct. So I hope that helps. And that, again, it's a project that's coming to that's going to be an exclusive pattern in July for my watch subscribers, just to let you know. I'll probably be releasing that sometime in the fall, as a pre-Christmas release for my regular YouTube channel. Okay, so just to let you know, they're going to get exclusivity on that one for a little while, because they're my faithful supporters. But you guys will be getting it here, probably in the fall. The time when people start thinking about doing Christmas kinds of things. And Deborah Malone would like to know if I've ever made a hoodie blanket, like a snuggie. Not to date, not yet, Deborah. I haven't. I'm sorry, but maybe one day, if the day comes where I have grandchildren. No pressure, guys, girls, no pressure. But if once that happens, I'm sure my focus can be refocused and change a bit, and I'll start thinking more along those lines. But I just haven't really done that quite yet. But I'm sure there are many other YouTubers out there that have. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure if you just do a little Google search or YouTube search, I'm sure you can find others. But it's something to think about. Let's see here. I'm probably not going to get to everybody, but oh, I want to do say hi to Rosie King from Lincolnshire, UK. Wow. Hope you're having a good evening there. I guess you're probably getting ready for dinner, right, Rosie? Um, or the evening tea. And let's see. I do have a lot of comments. We have Velma from Illinois in our chat, and Kathy from, is it Veneta, Oklahoma? I probably didn't say that right, but I tried. Um, and let's see. Oh, we have Susan from Australia. That is so cool. And Ann Butler from Northwest Indiana. And Nilda from Sarasota. Oh, I know where Sarasota is. I went to a Girl Scout camp there many, many moons ago. We took the Amtrak train to get there. I remember that. Um, we have Elaine from New Jersey. We have Archer Nace, which I believe is Terry. So hi, Terry. It's good to have you. She says, so pretty in Cleveland. And happy Mother's Day. And Johnny's still working on that spring throw. I hope you do like it, Johnny. That was a lot of fun for me. And I'm trying to figure out, I was able to actually gift that to some really good friends of mine in Charlotte on my way north. So it's always fun to be able to have a housewarming gift, just done and ready, and just don't even have to worry about, a date. Just, being able to just hand it off was so much fun for me. And so that's why you're not going to see it in my little studio here. I do give away a lot of the stuff that I make, simply because I love doing that. And as you well know, and also if you kept everything that you made, you'd have to have a bigger house to store it in, and it wouldn't get much use. So I'm glad. It's just a joy of my heart to be able to do that. And I know you know what I'm talking about because you guys are so generous yourselves. Um, yes, Hannah, I'm answering Hannah's question. Yes, I think I did. Um, let's see, we have Jean from, Jean Weber. She says TGIF. I agree. Thank God it's Friday. Yes. And we have Amy Joe. She's like, what's on the back of your chair? I guess you're talking about the blanket here. I think I've already shown that. Maybe I'm just late in reading your comment, I'm sure. Yeah, Ann Butler says, sounds like a Duratio had passed by. Yeah, it was definitely talking about what happened when we were in the Taco Bell. Yeah, it was definitely like straight line winds, and it was later on the news. I don't know if you saw that, Hannah, but it was on the news that evening, or the next morning. It was pretty scary, but what they showed was nothing like what we saw. Just seeing this huge tree snap off at about 15 feet in the air and just come slamming down in front of a car was very sobering. It'll make me think twice again before ever getting into a car and driving during a storm. I'll think twice about that. I think we all should. Oh, we have Crochet Tomokichi from Japan. Hello. I'm so glad to have you with us from so far away. You, you, that your beautiful country is on my, probably one of the top countries on my bucket list. We really, really, really want to go there. I have many dear friends that I've kept in touch with for more than 30 years in Japan. So looking forward to seeing them at some point. We have Leanne. She says, hi everyone, missed a few weeks of live, but back today from gloomy, cool Toronto. Yeah, Leanne, I feel like I'm going back and forth here. I feel like I've gone from summer back to early spring, late winter here in Maryland. I mean, I came home and it was in the 40s in the evening, and we had been having temperatures up into the 90s where I was. So we're, back to wearing long sleeves again. I don't know how to dress anymore. I always have to look at my watch or my phone to see, okay, what's the temperature? How warm is it going to get? How cold is it going to be? So, okay. So, Hannah, send me another question. Thank you so much for doing that, sweetheart. Deborah would like to know, what pattern would you recommend for a bolero or crop cardigan? I don't know that I have a video, but one of my favorite cardigans that's, on the shorter side, not a long, it's not super short, but it's not a real long one. It's in this book. Okay, again, I'm not trying to make you go out and spend all your hard-earned money. Okay, but this is probably my favorite one. I couldn't remember the name of it. I've only got a few hundred designs out there, so I forget sometimes. The Tipperary sweater in vest. This is the one that I really, really, really liked. Um, I made it out of it's a DK weight yarn. I used Barocco's Ultra Alpaca, but you can also use Cascade. You can use that, or Cascade yarns make, if you're looking for alpaca, Cascade makes a pure alpaca that I think is a little bit softer. But this is made up of it's a blend of wool and uh, and alpaca, which kind of helps it to keep its shape a little bit more. If you use pure alpaca, it should be fine. Um, it's just that when you go to pure alpaca, you're going to get more drape, and it doesn't have quite the uh, the bounce back that would probably be better for retaining its shape. So maybe the Barocco is the better yarn, or you can use a wool yarn or even an acrylic yarn of your choice, just a DK weight. But that would be my go-to. That's my personal favorite one that I actually like to wear. I like the way it fits me, and I liked crocheting it. It was a fun project. It uses the arrow stitch, low front ridge, I think low back ridge, and it uses the woven stitch. So it depends on how your relationship is with those stitches. Um, I'm getting a lot of questions, people struggling with the woven stitch lately from the Celtic mandala throw. So if you're not a fan of the woven stitch, you probably want to look at another sweater. But that would be probably my go-to on that. Um, and do I have a video that explains gauge? I think I do have a video on there. If you look up gauge and Bonnie Bay on the YouTube search, I believe I did do a video on that, or one that includes that. Oh, thank you, Deborah. She just donated $5. Thank you so much. So that brings us up to, I believe it's $55, and they're running some towards the next goofy parody song. But as a reminder, just to let you all know that if you do contribute to the super chat, that money, 100% of it, I pay the fees if there are any, 100% of that gets donated to an organization. I believe this month we're doing the Rancho 3M, which is a children's orphanage down in Guadalupe, Mexico. I've been there, spent the week there with my daughter back in 2006, doing some work to help the facility and make spruce up the compound, help build the fence to help protect the children around there. So it's a real place, a real people, real needs. So I really feel strongly about that. And occasionally, we'll go back and forth that and the Shriners Hospital for Children. And we have a couple of people who engage with us during the live, who are my friends. In addition to my mother-in-law, who've been patients there over the many years. My mother-in-law, as you well know, she had polio as a baby, and had many surgeries, courtesy of, for free from the Shriners. So that's a fantastic organization. So if you ever do give, no pressure to ever do that, please. But if you feel inclined, just know that that's where that's going to be going to. Once we meet and we get the $100 goal, and I like to send no less than that. So thank you so much. Did we just get another one? Archer Nation, you just bumped us up to 60. Thank you so much. Thank you, Terry. That's really kind of you. Let's see. Da-da-da. Tracy would like to know, what is the best baby blanket pattern for beginners? She has about 1,200 to 1,300 yards of yarn. Where is my book? I have a whole book of them. Gee whiz. Okay, let me see if I can find a book. Pardon my head, guys. Urgh. I've got a lot of stuff here, and I don't have one of those handy for some reason. Let's see if I can find one. Of course, they're not going to be in that one. Well, I tell you what. You can look in the video description below, but there is an entire book of baby Afghans that I have that all have YouTube videos, or you could just look on, let's see, look on the playlist on my channel, and then just hit Easy Beginner Baby Blankets. There's a list of about 15 to 20 of them, and you can look through them, and I tell you the yarn requirements. If it's not listed in the video description, shame on me, but it is listed at the very beginning of the video. I will say that the shell baby blanket is a yarn eater. So if you only have 1,200 yards, you should be fine on that. Um, the granny square, continuous granny square baby blanket is a good one. I believe the tulip stitch, it's not the tulip as in tulip flower, but it's actually like a V, large V stitch, um, is one that works up quickly. And I do believe has, you can make it work with that amount. You can make it work with any amount, really. So I would check those out first. Let me see. The ripple might be one that you could check out as well because it's just single crochet. And there's also the ripple, the wavy blanket, but I think that's more of a yarn eater. So I hope that's helpful, but I think you're just gonna have to look. Deborah, thank you so much. You just sent in $10. Thank you so much. That brings us up to 70. I will say that if we hit the $100 goal today, okay, now we're up to 75. Thank you, April. If we hit the goal today, I'm gonna have to defer any song to next week. We'll just start with that right away next week if we do go over the goal, just to let you know, because I am, with the traveling, I'm just not prepared today. I do have my guitar there, but it hasn't even been tuned. So we'd have to have an episode of tuning, you know. Um, all right, so we have another question here. Erica Groves would like to know, where do you get your yarn? She always runs out, and when she goes to get more, they're either out or do not carry it anymore. I try to buy a lot. If I have any doubts, I think I've learned years ago with us having some fiascos of not being able to match dye lots. Um, as many of you may know, yarn is dyed in big batches, but if you're going to make something, I know that there are some companies like the 1 pounders by Caron does not have a dye lot, so you're okay with that. But most companies have dye lots, which means they dye a whole bunch at once. And when you make a blanket or something that's a solid color, you want to try to match the yarn so that it's all the same dye lot. If you don't, and especially with the digital photography, it will show up. It will, the slight shade difference, even though it's the same color, same name of the color, um, the dye lots will vary slightly. I've been burned by that a couple times. And so I've learned to overestimate what I get. So if you don't mind overestimating, that's kind of what I do. If I see a pattern and it calls for maybe five scans of a particular thing, I might just buy 6, just that I have extra. I know that doesn't help you right now. And we've talked about this before, but we're in a peculiar season where right now there's just shortages of a lot of things. You know, first it started out with toilet paper, but yarn has been dramatically affected. I am still waiting on some yarn to come in with Love Crafts. I've been waiting for a particular shade of yellow so that I can finish a project for you guys. And it looks like I'm going to have to bump it to the fall or winter because I just, I needed one extra scan of yarn. And the reason that I even ran short was I was just going with stash yarn. Because the yarn wasn't available to buy anyway. So I thought, well, here's my stash. I'll see if I can make it work. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. So now we're up to 85. Thank you so much, Judy. Um, she says #1 fan. That is so sweet of you guys. So generous. So that would be my advice going forward for the future. But like I said, that doesn't help you much. Right now you just may have to wait until they get it in. And yeah, everything from was it the Suarez Canal? Am I saying that right? And then there was that got blocked, and then there was with COVID and just having trouble with people working to even run the manufacturing places where the yarn is made. Um, everything is a bit behind right now. So that's why if you can, see the yarn available for a project, get it. If it's in stock, let's say at Love Crafts or Knit Picks or places, online ordering, And when I do Afghans, I rarely can find enough yarn in one store. I do like to shop locally. I do buy yarn for smaller projects at Michael's, at Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics. I'm not prejudiced against any of them. And when AC Moore was in business, that was one of my go-to stores, especially for a lot of my baby blanket yarn. But anyway, they're no longer here, unfortunately. And a lot, of course, don't forget your local yarn stores. I like to frequent the So Original. There's also a place called Knit Locally that's near me. When I'm in South Carolina, there's a store, beautiful, beautiful store called Knit and Pearl. They're all over the place. So I mean that's an option too. Try the smaller stores. They may have what you're looking for. If it's a purely an acrylic kind of a thing from a Michael's store, you can also one option is you can contact the manufacturer directly. I know that if it's for example, if it's a Lion Brand yarn, you can just order it online from Lion Brand. And the same with Red Heart yarns. You can probably order it from Yarnspiration. So, I mean, that's another option too, is online shopping in that regard. All right. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm way behind here, but I'm just going to go with it. Let's see. We have Freaky Geek in the chat. Hey there. Um, and oh, thank you for your advice there, helping people out. And if you haven't already, if you could hit the thumbs up for the video, that would really help. And if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. And that way, and the little notification bell too, and that way you won't miss, the stuff that I upload. And hopefully you'll get notified when I'm going to go live and everything. Uh-oh, Lynn just pushed us over the top. So it looks like we're doing a song next week. Thank you, Lynn. So that puts us at $105. You guys are so amazing. Let me write that. Well, I'll remember that. So tune in next Friday. We will start with a song, and that'll give me a week to come up with something kind of fun for you guys, okay? Because honestly, right now with the transition and all, I'm just not ready. So sorry, but I'm gonna be so excited too to write that. I would say write that check, but it's really more of a transaction to the Rancho 3M people. So that's gonna really help them a lot down there in Mexico. So thank you so much for that. And let me see what else I have. Oh, let me get to the important announcement. I didn't mean to hold off this long, but you guys just had some amazing questions, and your program is better than the one I had on paper here. So big announcement here. Registration for the CGOA, which stands for Crochet Guild of America. These are going to be Zoom classes because, as you well know, the in-person conference, which was supposed to be in Denver, Colorado, how cool would that have been, has been canceled due to COVID. But we do have, this is the good news. Okay, that was the bad news, is we can't meet in person, but we're getting closer, guys. Maybe next year is the year. And if I'm still if I'm still around, I'm going to do everything I can to get there. But we're going to be teaching Zoom classes, and it's not going to all be squashed into a 4-day period or 5-day period like it would be in a in-person conference. Instead, this is going to be spread out over the entire month of July. So what that means is that you can probably pick classes that are more convenient for you. And uh, I intend to follow up with people as much as I can, who take my classes. Let me give you some of the hard factual information. Okay, brace yourself. Okay, these are not cheap. And before I tell you the prices, let me tell you that all this money does not go to the teachers. That most of them, the teachers are paid at an hourly rate by CGOA. The money that comes from registration actually goes to help the organization, which is to help cover a lot of overage with administration, a lot of technical stuff. I know last year, I believe the organization lost a lot of money because you have to, put money up for conferences, and a lot of arrangements had been made, and then it was all canceled. So I do know I'm just saying this up front because before I tell you. So a lot of the bulk of the payment does go to help support Crochet organization and what it does, and what it stands for and everything. Um, And just on a personal level, and this is not, I'm not complaining at all, but I invested in a rental car, and I invested in two flights for two conferences last year. But the only way to get your money back is to travel within the year, which was not even possible because of COVID. So, a lot of us experienced, a lot of financial loss, but not complaining. I mean, I'm just thankful that I didn't have to suffer through a hospitalization, and lots to be thankful for. So just to let you know about that, but for a 3-hour class, there are 3-hour classes and there are 6-hour classes. Okay, so are you sitting down? This is not cheap. Um, it's $85 for a 3-hour Zoom class. This is an interaction. We are going to be interacting with the teacher, me, if I'm the class you take, or some of the many other excellent teachers who I encourage you to check out all the classes and see if there's something that you really want to do. Um, Now these prices are for members of CGOA, and for a 6-hour class, yeah, a 6-hour class with an hour break in between. So it's like 3 hours on, a lunch break for an hour, and then 3 more hours. That's $170. Okay, that's for the CGOA members class. Um, Now for non-members, it's just a little bit more. It's $95 for the 3-hour class and $190 for the 6-hour class. So if you survived all that, the two classes that I'll be teaching, one is called the Aran Sampler Scarf class, and I meant to have the scarf out to show you. Hold on a second, I might actually have that. Let me look in my drawer. Ha ha. Is that it? Okay. I do have it. I just forgot to set it out. This is, okay. This is a cotton version of the scarf. Um, and it's a scarf that we will make together in this class. This is a 6-hour class, by the way, and we're going to learn all of these stitches in a day. So if you've always wanted to learn these stitches and maybe just wanted someone to double check you on them, this might be the class that you want to take. Um, Again, like I said, it is an investment. And then the other side, let me show you. So we will learn, all of these stitches, okay, during that 6-hour time. And the other side is just, they're symmetrical, okay? So what will probably happen, I'm going to try to keep it at a normal pace. And so the goal would be to crochet at least half of the scarf during those 6 hours. Okay. Now, if you're a little afraid that you might be particularly slow, I mean, you can even just make a lot of swatches. So, but it is actually quite easy to just crochet one stitch into the other. And I do have another version of this in some prettier yarn, but that would be one of the classes I'll be teaching. I'm going to be teaching a 3-hour class called Bold Cables, Big and Bold Cables, a new approach to larger crocheted cables. And that would be learning like the large wheat cable, the large honeycomb cable, and then some of the cables that you may have seen in some of my projects already out there. But it's just going over how those cables interact, and learning the technique that I kind of devised for doing that. Just kind of helps smooths out a lot of the cabling. And like I said, there are many other classes, other teachers to choose from. So if you want to try somebody else out, definitely check those out. Okay, Ms. Condor wants to know, are these classes for beginners? The two classes that I'm teaching are for intermediates, which means if you are, but I welcome confident beginners. And what I mean by confident beginner is somebody who is familiar with single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, chain, slip stitch. Did I get them all? The basic stitches, and if I say treble crochet, I know how to do that. So you don't have to have previous cabling experience per se. If you are familiar with front and back post stitches, that would be very helpful. So um, so yeah, but there should be, I believe there are going to be many other classes there that would be for beginners. Whether there are, I don't believe there's an absolute beginner from the very beginner. But if you wanted to try some of those, you can even look at some of the videos on my channel for some of the absolute beginning kind of stuff. I think that would be best done in person, honestly. But do check the schedule. The links and everything is in the video description below. So that link that I list with the descriptions of my classes in the video description, that'll take you to all the classes that are going to be offered. Again, like as always, no pressure. I mean, I know this is not, cheap. Um, but it is an investment, and I will say that when I've been in person teaching these classes, it's just a wonderful time together. And I don't know, it's rumored there might be some giveaways in my classes. I don't know, but I'm not going to entice anybody. Um, but yeah, I like to do a lot of giveaways. It's a lot of fun for me. So let's see what else. Do I have anything else on my list here? I think I'm getting close to done. I might actually make my lunch appointment after all. Um, oh, thank you, Deborah, for your comment about the Ripple um, project, and also for your sweet words to Hannah. Thank you so much for that. And what did Hannah say? Somebody's commenting on Hannah's comment. I'll have to look that up. We have is it Anushka in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we have Tracy Hamilton. The information is not on my website yet, Tracy. I haven't announced it there yet. You guys are the first to hear any of this. But you can go straight to the CGOA site that I have in the video description. But I do need to do a blog post about this very soon. Thank you, Johnny. Johnny just wished all the moms a happy Mother's Day. That's so kind. All right. Well, I hope I didn't miss anybody. If you have a question that you really need to have answered, just email me. I'm always, I do respond. I may not respond on the weekend. I will not respond on the weekend, actually, when I'm home with my family. But if you don't mind waiting a couple days, I will get to you. Um, yeah. Okay. Oh, Emily says she's going to be a vendor. Okay, going to be a virtual vendor with CGOA. That'll be fun, Emily. I hope you do well with that. It's a nice group of people. Okay. All right. Thank you for the question, Hannah. I think I just answered that. And Diana says that spring has finally sprung in Wyoming. Well, I hope it stays. I'm still waiting. I'm not gonna touch my ground, putting any flowers in until after Memorial Day, or maybe Memorial Day weekend, because I know I may get burned if I do them any sooner. But yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to wind down here. Hannah's going to be sending me a question. Let me see what she's sending me. Deborah Malone is wondering, how does the ripple blanket look with one color? That's a great question, Deborah. I would encourage you to make it multiple colors and stripes, changing yarn every, I don't know, you decide how wide you want the stripes. I really think you need a contrasting color to go with those. Otherwise, you don't even see the ripple. And it's a lot of counting to not see those ripples, I promise you. So I would encourage you to mix it with other colors, just because there's not a lot of texture. It's more of a visual, it just works well with color. Yeah. Okay. So let me see if there are any other questions. I'm not sure. Yeah, Freaky Geek says a swatch scarf. Yep, that's pretty much pretty much what it is. But I think it's something that it gives you something to wear afterwards. Referring to this one. I do have this in a different color, and I actually used shells as a trim all the way around, and I think it kind of looked a little nicer. But you can use whatever trim you like. Let's see. Okay. Let me see. I'm just checking to make sure we don't have any other. Okay, well, I think I'm going to end, and I wanted to end with some words. Remember, Wanda sent me these books a couple weeks ago, and I have finished the first one. Thank you, Wanda. And I wanted to read something and a verse to you in closing to try to encourage you for Mother's Day and just in general. This is for everybody. Um, okay, just wanted to get my Proverbs ready to read. And I read this, and I think I need to have this, I don't know, cross stitched or something and hanging up so I see it all the time. And these are the words that this woman Terry says that she has a plaque with this saying on her, in her home, and it says, "Worry does not empty tomorrow of its troubles; it empties today of its strength." And let me read that again. Worry does not empty tomorrow of its troubles; it empties today of its strength. And another saying that she has is, "Why worry when you can pray?" And I so agree. And from the book of Proverbs, which is in the Bible, I'm going to read chapter 12, verse 25, which simply says, "Anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but a good word makes him glad." So I hope that encourages you for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me for this hour of Friday fun. And Lord willing, I will be here next week and look forward to seeing you. We're going to start with the song. God bless. Bye bye.